Hi, I want to talk with you for a little bit about the importance of yoga in our lives. So in this newsletter this week, I write about surrendering. And in our Western culture, we often think of surrender as a very negative thing, like we've given up, we've surrendered to something. But in yoga and in Eastern philosophy, we think of surrender differently. And surrender becomes this way that we observe ourselves and we surrender. We surrender to our true self. And what does that mean? In relation to yoga, which I want to talk about for a little bit, it's about observing what our bodies can do and what we're capable of. And also what we're capable of stretching too. And what I find when I work with women, especially in a yoga practice, is that, and I'm speaking now of women of a certain age, as we age, we have these aches and pains, and we suddenly notice it's a little harder to get out of bed in the mornings. Our knees start hurting, maybe our low back, our necks, maybe we have more headaches, all sorts of things that maybe we didn't struggle with before. And so what I think is so important about yoga is that when we show up for our practice in yoga, the asana work that we do on the mat or off the mat, but this practice allows us to surrender to where we are, surrender to our pain and maybe our discomfort, not to push it, but just simply to observe it and lean into that discomfort. I find that when I work with women in yoga, whether it's class after class or it's a special kind of yoga practice they need, they are able to identify those places in their body where they get stuck and address it, and also be kind to themselves, be compassionate with ourselves, and surrender to the way we are at this moment in our lives. I work with women in yoga and around my life coaching that are in their 50s or 60s, in their 70s, 80s, and on. And I find that, if you can show up for your yoga practice and do what it is that you're capable of and surrender to what you can't do at that moment, you will just make enormous progress in many other ways in your life too. Because what happens when we get these aches and pains and discomforts and we start to notice them more, many times we cave into a more sedentary lifestyle. We want to move less because our knees are hurting, or we're getting out of breath more often walking up the stairs. When in fact, if we're able to develop just a small amount of yoga, even daily or a couple times a week, we will begin to notice the benefits of that. Of course, it's important to consult your healthcare practitioner and get advice around what it is you can do or what you shouldn't do. But here's what I'm offering you, and you'll see this in my newsletter, is that I am recording weekly yoga classes, and they are for women of a certain age. And I will advise you during these classes on how to make adjustments, how to use props like blankets and blocks and things to support your body if you need it. And this class is going to be recorded. Every Wednesday I'll open up a new class, and it's going to be a subscription service so that you'll get a class a week. You pay $25 a month for it. And every Wednesday, like I said, it'll open up a new class. And you can write to me. You can correspond with me at my email address, which is in the newsletter and on my website, www.kumaripatricia.com. And you can even tell me if you're having trouble with some of the asana practices that's included in the class. I'm happy to advise you with some adjustments. The other service I'm offering is a consultation with me. Will take about 45 minutes where I find out more about what your specific needs are. And once I can understand your body a little bit better, then I will create a yoga class that you can even adopt into your daily life, maybe in the morning, afternoon, maybe before you go to bed, especially if you have trouble sleeping. I just think that any way that you can show up in your yoga practice, and let me also say that if you're a woman and you have trouble getting down to the floor and getting down to your mat, no problem. We can develop a yoga practice. I can develop this for you in chair yoga, where you're seated in a chair. And I know that it will be able to adjust to what you can do, and certainly by listening to what you tell me to, I can do that. So I invite you on this Mother's Day weekend, let's say, it is Mother's Day on Sunday, to really appreciate your body, appreciate what you can do, and understand that movement is very, very important. And how we move is very important, how we show up for that. And again, to sort of surrender to what it is we are capable of doing and respecting our bodies for that too. So I hope you have a beautiful Mother's Day weekend. I plan to have a wonderful Mother's Day weekend. And even if you have not been a mother in your lifetime, you probably have had a mother somewhere along the way. And I think that it's a time when we can all pause, remember our mothers and our grandmothers, all those ancestors that came before us, and appreciate and honor what they gave us, even if it was a difficult relationship. But just to pause for a moment and just remember them. So, thank you for being a part of my newsletter. Thank you for watching this. Do click the buttons to subscribe to my class. See what it's like. I think you will find adopting yoga in your life will be an enormous benefit to your self-care.